All right, I'd like to introduce this podcast with Quinlyn Richards, tattoo artist out of Scottsdale, Arizona. Thank you so much, Quinlyn, for doing this collaboration with us. This collaborative t-shirt that Quinlyn designed is available now at lonelycowboyco.com, and 10% of all proceeds go to our Lonely Cowboy Scholarship Fund. And that fund is for the Lonely Cowboy scholarships that we offer across the country, awarded to high school seniors interested in mental health education. And the schools in which we award these scholarships are picked by tattoo artists like Quinlyn. So what happens is we have, for all the tattoo artist collabs that we've done, they all pick the high school. And as our scholarship fund grows, every time we reach our goal for a scholarship, we can offer the scholarship at that school. And then we just go down the list of every tattoo artist collab we do. So we're super excited for that. The donation link will also be in the description down below. You can go donate there if you don't want to purchase the shirt. To learn more about the scholarship fund and more about Lonely Cowboy, you can go to lonelycowboyco.com. You will see the blog of all the tattoo artist collabs we've done, Q&A about mental health, tattoos, everything like that. You can also shop the rest of the clothing that has different art from all different tattoo artists as well. And we thank you so much for supporting this episode of Convos with KEEGS. I'm your host, Kellen, owner of Lonely Cowboy Company. I thank you so much for your support, and let's get right into the video. All right, I'm here with Quinlyn Richards, correct? Is that?
Yes.
And you are from Bozeman, but you tattoo
Mm-hmm.
out of Scottsdale.
Correct.
Nice. So what made you go to Scottsdale?
Just for funsies. I'm young. I have nothing really tying me down anywhere, so I'm just trying to make the best out of it before I have responsibilities, real life responsibilities.
Yeah, I feel that. Before we get too far into it, I want to say big thank you for donating to the scholarship fund and posting that thing on your story.
Of course, yeah.
That meant a ton, and you know, it's very encouraging seeing other people like yourself who are interested in the mental health conversation, especially with tattoos. So yeah, I very much appreciate that, and I'm super excited when these scholarships start rolling out, and we'll be able to offer one to
Heck
the
yeah.
high school that you chose. So yeah, thank you very much.
Sweet. Of course.
So let's get into tattoo talk a little bit. So what got you into the whole tattoo world?
It was a total accident, to be honest. I did not plan it at all. I did not learn very conventionally. I definitely started, I was doing some ghetto house tats, that's for sure. But like rewinding even before that, I actually started in microblading, semi-permanent cosmetics for your eyebrows. And then I did that, I think I started that in 2018 or 2019 or something, and then transitioned into tattooing after I got this machine called a PMU machine. Which is hypothetically just a tattoo machine, but for your eyebrows. So it's less powerful, less abrasive, I suppose.
Yeah.
And I ordered it. When I got it in the mail, I was messing around on some latex at my apartment. And my best friend at the time came in and was like, "Is that a tattoo machine?" And I was like, "Hypothetically." And she was like, "Are you thinking what I'm thinking?" And I was like, "Absolutely, yes, I am." So I gave like some real shitty house tats for like 4 months, and then the rest was history.
Damn. So
I
how'd
know.
you get into like the more, so once you figured out like, oh, this is something I want to do, you know, when did it switch from shitty house tats to like now you're now you're an actual artist, you know?
So my first tattoo was in May of 2020. And I think that was like peak COVID too. So like it was very like just friends that were okay with me, like, you know, practicing on them and stuff. And when I think it was in September when I like started, I guess, transitioning from full-time microblading and like nano brows to tattooing. But it wasn't until probably like, I don't know, a year after that that I was like, okay, this is my niche. This is what I need to be doing in life. Like, I mean, at least for now, because
Yeah.
who knows, you know, 5, 10 years from now. But yeah, like it wasn't until probably a solid year after that I was like, okay, this is it.
Gotcha. Dang. And I imagine the clientele in Scottsdale has got to be massive. Like,
Well, it would be, but I just moved here, so it's like definitely slowly trickling in.
gotcha.
Like
Okay.
I I definitely have more hoes in Bozeman. Is this explicit? Am I
Yeah.
supposed to
No.
be
No.
saying
No.
like
No.
explicit?
No.
Okay.
Say whatever the hell you want.
Okay, perfect. But yeah, I have a lot more clientele in Bozeman, especially because I built it from the ground up there.
Got
So
you.
like, I don't know. It's a transition I'm gonna have to get used to
Yeah.
because there's also a lot, I mean, with a lot more people, there also comes a lot more competition. And I don't really like to call it
Yeah.
competition, but just other providers, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll get there, but for now it's a little slower.
Got you. And when did you move there?
I moved here in September.
Oh, dang. So still
So
pretty
like
fresh.
yeah. Yeah.
Dang. How are
Yep.
you liking it so far?
It's a little weird. It's a little weird, but I've literally lived in Bozeman my entire life,
Yeah.
so it's for sure a change. Like the only time I ever lived anywhere else was in Utah for a semester in high school.
Yeah.
So that was it. This is definitely a big change.
What? So like, I mean, I got to imagine growing up in Bozeman's got to be pretty cool, right?
It's dope. And like, I mean, I could have left when I was 18,
Yeah.
but I didn't. I stayed there. It's amazing. It's awesome. I'll probably end up back there,
Yeah.
but
Are you a seasons girl? You like the different seasons? Because I Scottsdale's pretty warm all the time, right?
uh-huh. I actually love the sun. I moved here for the sun
Oh
specifically. I was
yeah.
like, yeah, I mean, I'm one of those sad winter girls where like the moment that the sun goes away, I'm like, okay, I'm not getting out of bed today.
Yeah.
Um, but I think like I moved here with the expectation that it was like hot and 70 all the time.
Mm.
Which like for the most part it's warmer and like it's definitely warmer than Bozeman. Like I literally went back in December and it was negative
I saw
45.
I
So
saw those stories.
we won't talk about that
Yeah.
part. Um, but yeah, I like the sun here, but I do appreciate seeing the seasons change,
Mm.
like in Montana.
Yeah.
Like I love the summertime, it's beautiful. The fall, it only lasts for like literally 6 days, but it's beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm in Buffalo right now, but I.
Oh, okay, so you get it.
Oh yeah. I mean, the seasonal depression here is very, very real. I saw the sun for the first
Mm-hmm.
time today, and since probably beginning end of October.
Woo!
It was yeah.
It's rough though.
It's
I get you.
it's tough. And when you guys had that storm where it was like negative 45, it came to us and in like
Hmm. Oh,
it
that
was
really hit you
fucking
guys.
oh yeah, we got pounded. Yeah,
Dang.
it was brutal.
Well, I'm glad to see you're alive and
Well,
well.
I appreciate it. And you kind of developed a bit of a relationship with my tattoo artist Peyton.
Oh, the what's her? I didn't know that was her name.
Yeah.
I always just like associate everybody with their like
Yep.
Instagram username,
Yep.
but yes,
PLD
I
Inc.
do. She's awesome. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, that's how I was introduced to you, I believe, or I don't know.
Hmm.
But I was always me and Peyton talk about it all the time, like how long are we gonna last in Buffalo, you know? And I'm
Right.
kind of on the tail end of it, like I,
Uh-huh. I gotta get out of here.
yeah, and exactly the same reason why you wanted to go. It's just for the sunshine. Like I love the city of
Yep.
Buffalo, I love the people, but
Hmm. That's exactly where I was at.
yeah. So you said it's a little bit of a slow start in Scottsdale. Are you
Hmm.
like how does your booking process work? Do you do every month or is it all the time?
So when I was back in Bozeman, it was very routine. Like I would wait a couple months and then book out the next 6 months and then
Gotcha.
wait that long and then book another whatever. But like while I'm here, like especially while rebuilding clientele,
Mm,
I don't really have that option. So I'm kind of just like wherever anybody can come in, you can come in.
yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
as long as it's like, Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. to 5 or whatever. Like if you can make that work, I'll put you wherever.
Yeah.
So it's kind of just like, I don't know, very like pebbled, like it's all over the place right now. But if and when it starts to like get a little busier, I will definitely have more of a routine. Okay, books open this day, this time,
Mm,
this is what you need to do kind of thing.
yeah. Are you
But
committed there for a year? I'm assuming you signed a year lease.
We did, well, yes, we actually did sign a year lease, but we're probably gonna break it, to be honest. But just because we're gonna move to a different area
Oh,
here,
okay.
like a couple towns over. But
Gotcha.
staying in Arizona, we'll probably be here for a year or two, and then who knows after that.
Gotcha. Are you working with another
Yeah.
artist? Are you doing this with someone else?
No, just my partner.
Gotcha.
We moved down here together. Yeah.
Gotcha. I see. So
Yep.
going back to Bozeman a little bit is, I mean, I'm sure this is like the reputation that everyone has who doesn't live there, but all
Hmm.
I think of is Yellowstone. and
Oh,
there,
for sure.
and I've
Hmm.
saw some videos of people who aren't from Bozeman and they go there and then they interview like the locals and they ask the locals
Hmm.
like, okay, pick out all the people that aren't from around here, and it's they all look the fucking same.
Yep.
what
Hmm.
what's
It's true.
what's kind of the culture like they're living in it? I mean, how far away is Yellowstone exactly?
Yellowstone is about like, well, it depends on which direction you go. You can get to it from several different directions from where Bozeman is, but I think it's about like an hour, 2 hours. There's different parts of Yellowstone or like Wyoming area. Um, well, I guess it's in Montana and in Wyoming, but
Yeah.
like Mammoth Hot Springs is like a super small town that's like very Yellowstone vibes. And
Gotcha.
I think it is in Yellowstone, but it's still just like on the outskirts of it, but it's all the same. It looks, like geysers and high-rise little things that you have to walk on so your feet don't get burned kind of
Well,
thing. But
that's wild. um
yeah.
well, let's dive into the mental health aspect of everything, and I kind of relate this back to a lot of the conversations me and Peyton have. Like, do you notice with the clientele you have and even just your whole experience tattooing, is it more like a therapy session for people to come in and get tatted?
Almost like I would say like 95% of the time, yes. Because like, I mean, what else are you going to talk about? Like people come in and they're like, "Oh, it's finally time for me to just relax and like not have to really worry about
Yeah.
anything." So that's just time that you get to talk. And like obviously it's not going to be small talk for 3 or 4 hours. So like you start to talk about some like really in-depth subjects and like I don't know, things that matter, I guess.
Yeah. And
So
how many tats are you doing that are 3 or 4 hours? Because I know whenever I hit the 4 hour mark, like I'm not talking much.
fair enough, fair enough. I mean, I do a lot of bigger projects. I prefer to do bigger projects now.
Hmm.
But there is days where I'm like, I just want to do some little, simple things. And like those, my like average appointment time, I would say is probably like, I don't know, 1 to 2 hours.
Gotcha.
Um, but I think that's a fair time zone or like time limit for people to be like, okay, we're opening up to each other, we're talking about things or
Yeah.
whatever. But yeah.
Are you using single needle always, or are you going any thicker?
Yeah, so I did start in that, but then I had to, like I said, I was using this, and I'm not proud of it, but I was using a PMU machine for a good chunk of
Yeah.
time. And you don't really have a lot of options for like bigger needles with those type of machines. So I was strictly doing single needle, fine line, everything. But then once I progressed to, I had a Cheyenne Hawk pen after that, and then I switched to this Cheyenne Solnova. And once I got to the Solnova is when I really started getting into like the bigger projects. And like, I mean, you've probably seen it on my page, but I really enjoy like all the abstract, like thick, high contrast
Yeah.
lines. So like the two lines or three lines that one of them's super super thick, and then the very other side is extremely thin. So I love pieces like that. I would literally turn my entire feet into that if I could.
Yeah.
But I like to do those type of pieces over like teeny teeny tiny ones.
Yeah. 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 Payne wanted to do that exact kind of what you were saying, like the thick line and thin line. We're trying to figure
Yeah.
out a place to do it on my arm, but I mean
Heck
that
yeah.
piece is fucking huge. So like, it's kind of hard to go through
Yeah,
all the
that's
other
fair.
ones.
The wonderful part about abstract is you have literally all the, like, I mean, especially with abstract is subjective, so you don't have to have it make, or you don't have to make it look like anything.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
you
yeah.
can weave it in and out of your other tattoos, or like, I don't know, you just have so much freedom with it because it's literally a line.
Yeah,
Like,
for
I
real.
don't know. I love that.
Um, let's talk about social media a bit. Whenever you post about the algorithm, I fucking die.
I know.
And
It's evil.
it really is.
It's just absolutely heinous.
So, I mean, I could go on about this for hours. And actually, recently, I kind of took a break from social media. Um,
Hmm.
and like, I got to a breaking point where I was just so burnt out and I fucking hated just going through the constant battle of trying to find content to post and all, this, that, and the other.
Exactly.
But yeah, I
Yep.
took a break and honestly, it was the best decision I've ever made. It kind of made me
Hmm.
reevaluate like every business move
Yeah.
ever.
Straight up. Straight up.
But yeah, what's your relationship with social media like? And I know you were doing that challenge. Are you still doing that?
Unfortunately, I haven't posted I haven't posted today, which sucks because like after this it's gonna be like damn near too late.
Yeah,
But dang, nothing in this world like diminishes your self-confidence like social media.
for
Like
real.
you get, 4 likes on something and you're like, that's it. I quit. Like
Yeah.
I just hate that it holds so much power over people.
Hmm.
Like, um, I don't know, on this little challenge I'm doing for whoever watches this, I'll explain it, but it's literally just 2 weeks. I have to post every day, whether that's a reel or whether that's a post. Usually, like before I did this little challenge, I was posting maybe once every 2 weeks, if that. Like I
Hmm.
have gone 1 to 2 months without posting.
Yeah.
And honestly, the ones that were before this did way better than the ones that I'm posting now. Like it was supposed to help me,
Yeah.
but they just suck.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they perform terribly and I'm
Yeah.
just like this is so not worth it, but I have to just do the 2 weeks because I said I would
Yeah.
and like I'm upholding myself to that responsibility. So I guess we'll see how it goes, but
Well, hey, don't burn yourself out because
I
I
know.
tried to do a podcast challenge pretty recently, and it was like
Uh-huh.
I started it doing one podcast a day for 30 days, and then I quickly realized like that was just not
Oh, that's
possible.
a lot.
Yeah, so then I
Yeah.
just turned it into like 30 podcasts in 30 days. So one day I would record like
Okay.
4 or 5 and kind of have a
Fair.
little bit of a cushion. And then
Hmm.
I got to day 22, and that was like my breaking point. Where I reevaluated my whole life and questioned everything.
Right.
And I was like,
I know.
I did it, and I was like, yeah, this is gonna be the last solo podcast I do for a very long time. It's just
Fair.
not worth it.
I get you.
And how I mean, the struggle that I have is separating work and personal life.
Social, yeah,
Do you
totally.
think that social media kind of limits that for any kind of business, really?
Um, can you repeat the question for me before I go off on a super random tangent?
So let me rephrase that a little bit better. Is it difficult for you to separate um, business with your personal life because of social media specifically? Like, social media is a big part of the job, and it comes home with you. It goes everywhere with you. Like, how do you
Mm-hmm.
separate that? Two phones?
Yes, this is my work phone, and this is my personal phone. I try my very, very hardest to not bring my work phone if
Yeah.
I'm not at work. Like, I mean, as you can tell, you're probably so annoyed with me the last couple months because like
No,
you're
no,
texting my
no.
work phone on this one and I'm like ghosting you for 3 weeks or
No, I
whatever.
get it.
But
I do the same shit.
yeah,
Yeah.
so that's my attempt at keeping them separate. Especially when I'm in Bozeman or when I was in Bozeman or when I came back to Bozeman for a guest spot.
Yeah.
My phone is just constantly blowing up. And while on one hand I'm trying to spend time with friends and family, I'm also working. So like the and to make both of them work, I have to like kind of merge them together a little bit
Mm,
so I can, schedule whatever. Um, but that shit sucks. Like, it's like if you have to be doing them together, it doesn't make sense. Like, you just need to figure out a way to separate them. As soon as I got my work phone, I transferred everybody that was texting. It was originally email that I was doing all bookings and talking to everybody,
mm,
and then it was DMs, and then it was this, and then it was that, and just like the whole chaos of everything where I always had it on one phone was just miserable.
yeah.
So I ended up switching to like having a separate number, separate line, whatever, and having everything in one place is what really helped me, especially because now on iOS you can unread messages. So
What?
I just like I can unread it if I don't want to deal with it, but
Yeah,
like come back to it later or whatever. But
yeah.
it's definitely helpful having like a separate phone, separate number.
Dang, I gotta do that. I think that would help me
You
as
do.
well.
Yeah.
I don't even put my read receipts on just cause like,
Yeah. Oh, heavens no. I
yeah,
don't think I've done that since I was in like seventh grade to be petty or something.
for real. I have a few people that I have read receipts on for, but other than that, yeah.
Those are the trusted. Those are the trusted.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think two phones is definitely the move. I'm gonna hopefully
Hmm.
do that soon. I also have you thought about ever hiring a social media manager?
Yes, I have. And I actually have one kind of built in. He's in the other room. But he just like my partner does literally so much for me
Yeah.
when it comes to like if I feel overwhelmed, I will just give him my work phone and I'll say, "Can you just read me?" I'll lay on my back and I'll say, "Can you read me these text messages?" And I will tell you what to respond. Because like the motor part of it all is also like 50% of what's overwhelming me.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to see it. I don't want to read it. Like I don't want to type it with my fingers. Like if someone else is doing that for me, great. I don't think I could actually give that job to somebody else because it would be like I don't think I could trust them enough to do that because I have a very specific way of doing things. I'm kind of a micromanager.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
So
feel you.
I'm kind of just like, I don't know. I'm glad I have somebody to read it out loud and then type it for me.
Yeah. 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 I've been thinking about getting a social media manager for a while cuz I mean, I get
Hmm.
it the like I'm kind of nitpicky about shit as well, but
Hmm.
I've been trying to almost make it a system so like it you just kind of go through the system and it works
Yeah.
itself. But I don't care if I have to like see it physically post or comment back or anything. I'm
Hmm.
good. I am if I could be
Yeah.
hands off from social media, I would do it in a heartbeat.
Oh, yeah. He was actually the one that told me that I should start doing this challenge to see if it helped my page or whatever.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm so ready to be like neener because it didn't work at all. Like, um, I don't know. It's just like he would do that for me, but I'm too picky
Yeah, yeah,
social
yeah.
media wise. He can help me with all my like work stuff and sorry, the lighting in here is
That's
being
all
all
good.
funky. He helps me with like the text message and emails and messages part of things,
Yeah.
but I need my feed to be exactly how I envision it in my head. Obviously, I'm a very visual person, or else I wouldn't be a tattoo artist. So I need full control of that, which sucks because I want to give this job to somebody
Yeah.
else, like the social media aspect, but I can't.
Yeah, I feel you. And I think with being a tattoo artist, like that is, Instagram is almost like your resume. It really is, honestly. Everyone,
Oh, for sure. 100% portfolio.
yeah. What the hell is going? My computer's doing something. What? Okay. Jeez, that scared the shit out of me.
Sorry.
No, no, it's all good. There was like a little uploading thing, whatever. Um,
Sick.
but yeah, Instagram is definitely a huge tool for tattoo artists specifically, and we're only now
Hmm.
kind of seeing the rise of it. I want to say uh, 2017, 2018 is when it really started. Because prior to that, I don't know about you, but like when I was trying to find shops to get my first tattoo, it was never go on Instagram. It was always just Google, you know.
Oh, yeah.
But
Yep.
now
I
it's
don't
like,
even, I mean, you can search me on Google, but the only thing it comes up with is like my Instagram.
Yeah.
I send my booking link to people
Yeah.
because I don't let just randos book because I have a very obviously like niche style. So no Sailor Jerry is gonna come in and be like, hey, I want a, giant panther on my arm right here, whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, Google is not really very practical anymore, but definitely Instagram. That's where it's at, which sucks, but
Do you think eventually there's going to be a how do I word this? Do you remember when Facebook was big and now it's not really big in our generation, right? But
mhm.
I think that's going to come with Instagram too. I think Instagram's going to get old.
Oh, for sure. I think TikTok is gonna overshadow it.
See, I don't know though, cuz TikTok can only live so long.
Okay, for now at least. I
Yeah,
feel
yeah.
like, post 2020 when it really boomed, this is like everybody's always saying like, "Oh, get a TikTok." Everybody goes viral on TikTok,
Yeah.
TikTok, TikTok, whatever. I feel like the same way because now I'm noticing a lot of my favorite artists that I follow have, tons of followers on Instagram, 10, 15 plus thousand followers, and then I'll go to their TikTok, which they started after,
Yeah.
and they have 30, 35 to 100,000 followers. And I'm like, how did that happen?
Mhm.
Like, I feel like, I mean, I don't know, I'm not as familiar with TikTok, but, and I don't know if the content is actually being showed to 35 to 100,000 people,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I feel like that one could have a lot of potential. And I feel like a lot of people go to that to get their word out, if that makes sense.
It definitely does. I'm awful at it. I hate that app so
Same.
much.
That's
Um,
fair. I was like one of those people that avoided getting it for a long time because I'm
yeah.
just like too good for it or whatever. And then
Yeah.
I caved and now I spend too much time on it.
That's hilarious. Have you ever considered doing what are they called? Guest spots at like different studios in different cities?
Yes, in fact, Peyton invited me over there, which would be so fun, and I want to do that so bad, but I literally have no idea what my schedule is like for
Yeah.
the next couple months of my life, so I that's a goal of mine, but I don't know when.
Well, I will say if you were to come here, the studio's dope. My studio's
I
connected
saw it.
right
It's
to
super
hers.
cool.
Yeah, it turned out all right. And then, but I would say come after the winter because right now is not.
Oh, for sure.
It's
Yeah.
depressing.
You don't have to tell me that much.
Yeah.
I will be there in the summer.
Summer is beautiful though. Summer's super humid, but it's gorgeous. It's a great place to be for about 2 months, two and a half
Fair.
months.
Yep.
But yeah, let's get back into the mental health aspect of everything a little bit. Why did you kind of want to collaborate with Lonely Cowboy, and what did you see in like the scholarship fund that we created that resonated with you?
Well, first and foremost, I think I also was introduced to you through Peyton. She posted it, and I was like, "Oh, what's this? This looks cool." At first, I thought that it was literally just a merchandise
Mm-hmm.
collaboration. Like I thought that it was just, this artist collabed with you, and then boom, there's designs, and you guys kind of like work together on sending out whatever.
Yeah.
But then the more I looked into it, it was like, really shed light on mental health. And I was like, wait a second. That's really cool because I feel like that's super overshadowed in everyday life. Like nobody really thinks about like the seriousness of that topic. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, I know it's gotten a lot more popular, especially in like the last 2 to 5 years, but I think that it needs a lot more attention lately.
I agree. Now more than ever, honestly.
Yeah.
And it's a problem that just continues to grows. And I don't have the answers, but I
Mm,
do think that through that scholarship fund, um, and providing those scholarships for kids, because for me personally, high school was the most difficult time, especially because
mm,
like you graduate and the only thing you hear is what college are you going to and what are you majoring in? And it's
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
we're fucking 18 years old. You think we know
Oh,
anything
yeah,
else?
literally.
It's
I feel so
crazy.
bad for people who have to make that decision still. Like,
Yeah.
we should have at least like 5 years before we're like, okay, well, this is what I want to do with the rest of my life. Like, that's such a heavy question. You're
Yeah.
expecting someone whose brain isn't fully developed to know that?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
goodbye.
It's wild. And I see
Yeah.
it time and time again. And I don't want to bash college because I think education is great,
Hmm.
but the system is awful and it costs way
Yeah.
too much money. I know so many of my friends who, they go to school, they get a degree, they work in the
Never
job
use
two
it.
years. Yeah, they fucking hate it.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
and now they're, 50 grand in debt for the rest of their life. So
Hmm.
it's
Agreed.
very
Yep.
odd. And in your high school experience, was that kind of the path that all the teachers were saying and like parents around town and
A
everything?
100%. Like I mean, they are good at making you feel like that's the right decision,
Hmm.
and they'll almost make you believe it yourself too,
Yeah.
which is the scary part because then you start like when you get your hopes up that much, then you're just like destined to disappoint yourself. Like,
Hmm.
I know that I felt really terrible about not going to college, but then I'm like, nowadays I think back and I'm like, I couldn't even do one assignment in high school. And you want me to like get a bachelor's degree? Like,
Yeah.
it, that's ridiculous. It's not for everybody. Like, learning is extremely difficult for people. With I don't know, like everybody learns differently. I am 100% hands-on. I learn by like not only writing things, but just like, flashcards or whatever. And like I'm just not motivated enough. Plus, I have like really bad ADHD, and that's just
Same.
not in my cards.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't sit in a lecture hall and listen to somebody talk for whatever and expect to retain that knowledge. Like it's just not for everybody. I just know for a fact I would have been 30 to 50 down. Like if I went to college, I'm very blessed that I didn't choose to go that route.
Did you go at all or did you just
Nope.
dang,
Nope, I
nice.
took a year. Yeah, I graduated May of 2018.
Dang, we're the same
And
age.
then nice. But yeah, I graduated then, and then in May of or I guess June of 2019 is when I went to that like brow school. And I was really fortunate because my parents, they were like, since you're not going to college, we want to be able to like help you out with like a trade.
Yeah.
So I didn't have to raise the money to go into that school, which was really awesome and very lucky. But I just can only imagine that's that much more of a stress for people who don't feel like they're fit for college or fit for that type of education. So I don't know. Money is a whole different topic,
Yeah.
like with college.
I only went for a year. I dropped out after a year and I think it cost me it was like $17,000 tuition with room and board for a year. And so yeah, if I would have done that
Evil.
4 years, it would have been 60 something thousand
That's
dollars.
just so wicked. Like,
It's
that's
crazy.
evil.
It really
Yeah.
is. And then same thing that you were saying, like in my lectures, I would sign in, wait till the teacher turned his back and sprint out the back door as fast as I could.
100%. Yeah.
Um
But
in in high school though, so we graduated the same year. So that's actually pretty crazy. We kind of had I mean, we're of the same generation and I think this
hmm
generation doesn't have many people like we're just so new to the quote unquote professional life, you know.
hmm
Pretty much everyone our age is just getting out of college, just starting their first job. We're still early 20s. We don't know what the fuck's going on. We have
Right.
this world that has been left to us is in shambles.
Literally. I mean, we might as well just quit while we're ahead because it's not getting better from here.
And I think a lot of us kind of feel the same way. We're like, what the hell is going on? And
Yeah.
where is life going, Because
Yeah.
these degrees aren't going to mean much very soon. We saw it with COVID. Like, everyone's working from home now. There's
hmm
no sense of community anywhere. Like, where do you think the world
Yep.
is going? In a
I know.
broad
I
way.
feel like all of the freaking 60 to 80-year-olds just said,
Yeah,
peace.
for
Like, deal with
real.
it by yourselves. We got a house for 20 grand back in the day. Like,
Right.
deal with it.
I was watching the football game earlier. I don't know if you're a football fan, are you?
I know nothing about sports, but I was watching a Miami something game this morning.
Yeah, you're
That's all.
watching Miami Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
very stressful. But throughout the game, like you see the commercials and everything, and I don't
hmm
watch like pretty much any typical TV on whatever like cable or whatever besides football. And whenever I watch these commercials, it's so strange like how they play out and how they're still conducting themselves through these advertisements, and you just go through and see like 50 different ads for medicines and you're like, what was this on our whole life? This is
Yeah,
fucking crazy.
seriously.
But
No, literally. And they're like, also, if you take this medication, you're also gonna have this and this and this
yeah.
and this and this and this as a side effect. You're screwed either way.
It's crazy. Yeah. It's crazy. You mentioned that you have ADHD and I do too. Um, are you medicated for that at all? If you don't mind me asking, I can cut it out too.
I No, you're fine. I tried it out. I tried actually a lot of different medications.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, up until I only got diagnosed with it last year.
Mm-hmm.
Which like we all saw that coming. I just never really thought like, oh, maybe I could be in a better state of life.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
maybe I don't have to be doing seven things at once all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did try a lot of different medications, but every single time I just felt like there was too much that I don't know, like it was the side effects weren't helping me or like weren't outweighing the good, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. Like I constantly had a headache. I was super dehydrated all the time. Like I didn't try everything under the sun, and I'm sure there's like, something for me, but I just kind of gave up after that and was like, well, I'm just gonna take this world by the horns and try to try to, live without it, I guess. But
Yeah, I feel
it
you.
was really cool when I would find something that worked for me for the first like week or two, and then I don't know why my brain was like, that doesn't work for you anymore.
Yeah.
Like whatever. And then, I would have to switch or get a higher dose or whatever, and then it would do the same thing. It was just a constant roundy round, and I was like, it's this money that I don't need to be spending. I'll just deal with it.
Yeah. Well, so what are some ways that you deal with it outside of that?
Um,
Going to the gym. I see you mentioned you were going to the gym.
yes, I think something I feel like I've kind of touched on this in the little Q&A that you sent me, but something that I absolutely hate is having like tasks. Like I just hate doing things. If I don't like have a passion for it, I'm
Yeah.
just lazy as hell.
Yeah.
But something that I also think really helps me is having tasks. Like
Yeah.
if I don't have anything going on for the day, I'll sleep all day. I'll sleep until 2 p.m. and then get up, and then, you know, I'm so bad at remembering to do things or just like doing anything in my life that I will straight up forget to eat. Like I'll just be
Mm.
like, "Oh, not in my cards because I'm gonna try to make merch today, or I'm gonna try screen printing, or I'm gonna try, let's learn violin or whatever." Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm the
It's just
same
so
way.
like,
This is crazy.
yeah, I know. And I don't know. It's just like I need to be able to be like, okay, that's by the way, this is why it helps so much having a full clientele, because if I get up and I have a 10 a.m. client, and as long as I have a client for the day, I have some sort of timed regimen.
Hmm.
So like usually like my ideal day would be like wake up at like 8:30. Like anything before that is a no-go for me. Honestly, anything before 11 is a no-go for me, but like I'll make it work. But yeah, I'll wake up, I'll go to my client. I'll have maybe like two or three clients ideally per day. And then I'll come home. I'll be just in time to like eat a like a, I don't know, like pre-dinner. I'm really bad at eating 3 meals a day. That's
Yeah.
just one of the things that I suck at. But like breakfast in the morning, super late-ish lunch, and then I'll go to the gym, which is another thing that keeps me like on schedule or like on track, and then come home and then have dinner and then go to bed. So like just having those like three timed activities throughout the day is like perfect for me. Like I just need something going on or else the day will vanish. I don't even know where it goes.
I am
But
the exact same way to a T. If I don't have
yeah.
a little bit of structure, like I'm fucked.
Hmm.
And
Yeah, seriously.
it's brutal. It's so hard. Like I feel like it's very hard to describe if you don't understand the feeling, you know? Like I'll
Hmm.
describe
Yeah.
this I'll try and talk to my friends about, some struggles I'm having and they're like, "Helen, what?
Hmm.
Like can't you just do it?" And I'm like, "Yo, it's not that
No, you don't
easy."
understand.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. No, it's
Yeah.
impossible. It's like, I don't know. I can't, the way that I like to explain it to people is like, imagine playing music on three different devices and trying to sing to all three of them. Like, you
Yeah.
just can't do it. I don't know, every other line you're gonna be like, oh, this part's my favorite part, and that part's my favorite part. So I'm gonna sing this one. Oh, wait, and then this one's playing this one. Like,
Yeah.
it's just like impossible.
It really is. I notice I do that a lot when I'm in my kitchen. I'll try and like make coffee, make food, clean the dishes,
Oh,
put the dishes away, sweep. Like I'm trying to do everything at once.
no, no, that's why I just gave up. I don't do that anymore. That's why, like, I, you could ask my partner and he would say the exact same thing. But, like, when I try to cook something or bake or I don't know, just literally any simple task like that, it takes me forever. Like,
Yeah.
I will literally, I also am a perfectionist. So, like, I want my egg to be perfect in the morning. So,
Yeah.
I have the tiny little pan that I'll crack my egg into, and I have to slow cook it because I can't risk it getting burned. And then I won't do the like bagel part of my sandwich until after the egg is cooked because I just didn't think of that.
Yeah.
And then, after the eggs cooked, I'll do the bagels, wait for that one to do it. So, like, I literally have to do things like step by step because I'm not a multitasker. I can't
Yeah.
do it. Like, it's just, yeah, it's everywhere. I can't even think that doesn't exist to me.
Yeah. I totally get it. I would say I'm a chaotic multitasker, which is not good. I need to get more to like
Fair.
just step by step, but for
Hmm.
whatever reason, I like waiting. I like waiting till the last minute to do everything.
Oh,
And
me too. I
yeah.
mean, literally tonight we had that issue. I was like, wait, I'm downloading the app right now. It's 6:15. Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel that.
It's brutal. It's brutal. Well, it's very refreshing to be able to relate to someone because I mean, it's not
Right.
these conversations can't be had with everyone. Um,
Exactly.
what do you think that? And I know you mentioned this in your Q&A, but what do you think either schools could do better or society could do better, just surrounding the mental health conversation and not really like forcing it upon people, but more just providing information.
Hmm. Um, Turn it into an extracurricular. Like I
Yeah.
did say this in my Q&A, but I think that it would be super freaking cool. I know I would take it, even though I didn't know jack shit about it when I was in high school, and
Mm,
nobody really cared about that kind of thing either. But if it was an option, if it was a class that, first off, didn't have homework, how many people would take that?
that
So
would
many
be
people.
crazy. Yeah.
So not only are you like luring them in, but they might actually find it interesting as long as you have a good teacher that actually cares about the teaching portion of it. I don't think that people would just like dismiss it as like a, oh, no homework class. Like I
Yeah.
feel like that you have to have the right teacher, but like teach it in schools, like I don't know, things that are simple for, underdeveloped children to understand, but that could be such a like diving board into the rest of their life. Like things like word clues. I don't know if you took a word clues class in high school, but it's such a
Mm-mm.
niche thing, and you learn about Latin and Greek terminology, like the roots of where the words came from.
Gotcha.
Something so weird like that, and I latched onto it so much. I'm like, I would literally go to college for this because it's so fun.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of thing is what, like, I feel like if you added something like a mental health class, or you don't even have to name it that, because I feel like people would be like, oh, I'm not taking that because it's mental health or whatever.
Yeah.
If you add something like that, and then people just fall into the class because of who knows why, and then they actually are like, okay, this is actually really interesting. I care about this stuff. This is helping me in my day-to-day life. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like that could be so helpful for everybody across the world.
I agree. Did you guys have a health class in high school?
Like health as in like
Just
physical health.
it was for us. We had it once, like for the first half of the
Oh,
year. It was just called health,
I
and
think the last time we had a class like that was in like middle school. Like I didn't remember one in my high school. I could be wrong. There might have been one, but I know I didn't take one.
see that's
But they,
yeah, that's fucking
sorry, go ahead.
crazy. No, I'm just gonna say that's
Hmm.
crazy that the last time you took it was so long ago.
Hmm.
Yeah, we would have it for once a year for half of the year, I think, or maybe it was once you had to take it in high school for half a
Oh my
year,
gosh.
and we would. I remember vividly, like we would breeze by every aspect of health. You just say like, okay, this is depression. Read the description. We're moving on. Okay,
Uh-huh.
that's
Yeah.
it. There was no explanation outside of that, and it's just it boggles my mind that nothing has
Hmm.
changed.
What bugs me the most about high school, and honestly any type of education, from from what I think, especially in the United States, it just really matters on who the teacher is, because
Yeah,
I could be so not interested in a certain subject, but if the teacher is good, then I will learn something. Like if the teacher really cares about teaching people, then that's just a game changer. Like I think not only do people need to be talking about mental health in high schools especially, but I think people need to be more serious about like teaching it.
yeah. I think I could be totally wrong on this, but I believe there's a bit of a teaching crisis. I don't think a lot of people are going to be teachers as much. Like I said, I
I
could
believe it.
I could totally be pulling that out of my ass, but I'm pretty sure,
No, I believe it.
which isn't good. It's not good.
Hmm.
And me and my one buddy were having this discussion the other day. When you're a kid, you kind of look up to people in, like, let's say, late 20s, early 30s, and you're like, damn, those people are so old. They have it all figured out. They know how to go about life, this, and that.
Yeah.
And then,
They're eating shit and pot pie right now. They're a whole ass adult. Like,
yeah, and now we're kind of gearing up to go into that stage, and we're like, nobody has it figured out. Not a
yeah,
single
no,
soul on
it's
earth.
crazy.
It is, and I'm a little worried for the next generation. I don't know how they're
Yeah.
gonna, because I mean, our grade 28, we graduated 2018. We kind of grew with social media. Like we didn't just get thrown
Hmm.
into every single
Oh,
social
for
media
sure.
possible. We had like the
Hmm.
iPods and go back even
Yep.
further, CD players. Like I
Oh,
still
for
remember
sure.
that. I remember life without
Hmm.
constant 24/7 access to internet.
100%. I mean, yeah, I grew up with in a pretty strict household too, so I feel
Yeah,
like like I probably had a phone, I don't know, 5 months of my whole life. It's like since I was 15, like
yeah,
until I graduated. Like I was constantly getting that shit taken away. Like I never ever had a phone. Like I feel like I did grow with the social media, all of that
yeah.
stuff, but I didn't as much as other people did, if that makes sense.
Totally. Yeah. And probably for the best. Like I wish I was excluded from that a little bit
Yeah.
more. But that's why I worry
Hmm.
about the kids now, cuz like you see fucking fourth graders with the newest iPhone and you're like, "What?"
Northwest
Yeah.
is like on TikTok star right now. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. So, it's only a matter of time until those kids are going to be in their 20s, and then we're going to be the ones kind of it's crazy. I
Mm-hmm.
hope we
I
don't
know.
make the same mistakes as the last generation because they fucked us. And
They really did.
and there's no other way to put it. I don't know how to
I
sugarcoat it.
know.
I think
Truly.
everyone's kind of under that. We all can kind of agree with that, but there's nothing
Hmm.
we can do now besides try and deal with it. So how do we deal with it? You know?
Right. I'm like crossing my fingers. I feel like I have, maybe this is naive of me, but I feel like our generation is very like honed in on trying to fix things. Like we're fixers for some reason.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of hoping that in the next, 5, 10, even 20 years, we kind of turn back the time a little bit and
Hmm.
like try to teach the younger generation in the way that we wish we were taught, if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Totally agree.
And I think we were right on that turn where like, people any older than us are like, well, it's too late.
Hmm.
And the people that are younger than us are like, well, it's too late. So I'm kind of just, yeah, I hope that
Yeah.
we are able to guide the next generation into success and happiness and fortune and whatever.
Hmm. I hope so as well. A little bit of a hard turn, but are you spiritual in any way, or do you believe in anything?
Um, I grew up Mormon. I don't know if,
Dang,
yeah, I
right
did
on.
grow up religious. I do still believe that there is a higher power and, there's not necessarily like, oh, there's a reason for everything, but I do feel like things are meant to happen to, help the progression of your life.
Yeah,
Um, but at the same time, I'm like, they gotta change, so they have to update if I want to be,
yeah,
still continue in that religion, I suppose. I'm not practicing right now, but I'm glad that I was raised the way that I was in like a religious sense,
yeah,
um, because it's very family oriented. Like, morally, I feel like I don't know. I would think I'm a decent human being, but I definitely had to unlearn some things. That's for sure.
yeah, yeah,
So I kind of got sidetracked on that. I don't know really the difference between being spiritual or, I don't know, being religious. Is that two different things?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
Fair.
I don't know. And I
I don't,
that's kind of why I brought it up. Because
uh-huh.
recently I've never been like fully religious. I grew up going to church a little bit.
Hmm.
And I've dabbled in religion here and there throughout my life, but I've never really grasped the concept of religion. It never really clicked with me. And
Hmm.
that's for all religions, for me personally, but I've always believed in
Hmm.
a higher power. And I call it God, but I don't know what the hell its name is. It
Right.
could be fucking anything. Um,
Exactly.
but I call it God. And recently, like when I was going through a very difficult time, and
Hmm.
I had no answers. I was like, I am at a standstill. And then
Hmm.
I started praying, and I was like, God, if you are real, like I could use some
Show
help
me.
right now. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's unbelievable the 2 weeks, the like from the first time I started like really praying and believing in it. I want to say it was about 2 weeks ago. I pray for a bunch of things every day, blah blah blah, and they just started happening, like almost to a T, and it
Hmm.
fucking freaky, because
I
like
get it. I get it.
I don't consider myself a religious person, but after my last 2 weeks, like there's something's helping me, and
Hmm.
I kind of just gave up that power. I was like, you just guide me. I'll do whatever
Yep.
you need me to
You
do.
take me wherever.
Yeah,
That's the hard thing is like we really don't know what's out there, but like
yeah,
if your life is heading in the direction that you want it to, who's complaining? Like,
yeah,
I
yeah,
don't know. It's like I'm kind of in the same boat where like I don't know, you have to kind of hit rock bottom for you to start noticing all of the like really good things that you have in your life.
totally, yeah.
But I feel like when you start, I have this, I don't know if you guys can see this on here, but it's a and you tattoo on Instagram. Her name's Hannah Matthews. She said
Oh,
she made this little wallpaper And it literally says, I am so lucky. Everything works out for me. I am blessed that everything goes my way. And I was like, I'm stealing that because I feel
Yeah.
like I mentally in the mornings, I start my days saying that in my head. And like the days that I do remember to say that, I feel like it's just a mentality. Like you just have to like kind of convince yourself that your day is going to go how you want it and
Hmm.
your day will go how you want it.
Yeah. Couldn't agree more. And shout out to Hannah. I actually, her collab is going to be right after you. So,
Heck yeah. She
yeah.
told me about that. I was stoked for it.
Yeah. We did a podcast, I don't know, 2 weeks ago. I actually think we did the podcast. And then a few days later, I had my breaking point. And I was
Hell yeah.
like burnt
You're
out
like,
as
I'm
well.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm just now kind of getting more in touch with that side of me, that like spiritual side of me. And you know,
Hmm.
I've been thinking about it like, okay, this is great and I want to be able to convey that message but not in a religious way. And then I realized I was
Hmm.
like, there's so many people that out there that are like me who don't like the idea of religion, but I still
Hmm.
think you can find God or find that higher power, whatever it may be, without it, you know?
Exactly.
And
Yeah. Is the term for that agnostic?
I don't know. I have no idea.
I feel like I think that's the word you're looking for, but I know several people like that where like they just believe that there is something else that's either guiding us or waiting for us in a sense.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I get you.
Do you have this is a loaded, not really loaded, but very
That's
direct
okay.
question.
Hit me with it.
Have you ever done mushrooms?
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh.
Let's
Okay.
go.
So I have a really, really terrible experience though. Like I
Really?
will never do them again because I
No
was just
way.
tripping in the worst way possible. Like
Dang.
I thought they were gonna be so fun. P.S. I thought it was a microdose. We'll just leave it at that.
How much did you take? If you don't mind me
Too
asking.
much. Too much. I
Okay.
don't remember exactly
Yeah.
because I actually took them with my partner and he is, 200 pounds, doesn't, you know, didn't affect him at all. He went to
Yeah.
bed, snoozing.
Dang.
I literally thought I was being hunted the entire night. That was my first mistake.
Damn.
I took him at night.
Yeah.
That was not
Yeah.
fun. And the second mistake was that I was tripping sack by myself.
Yep.
So I was just like really going through it the whole night. I thought the doorknob was turning. I thought the window was opening. I thought that there was something perched on the top of the canopy of the bed at the time. Like I was tripping. I did not like it. But I have heard from several different people that they're super dope for like a spiritual reset or like awakening or whatever. I just did not have that experience.
Well, hey, I hope that one day you can do them. And
Right.
honestly, like microdosing, you won't have a trippy effect. Like if
Uh-huh.
you actually take the microdose amount,
Uh-huh.
it won't be too crazy. And you
Hmm.
know, every day there's more studies showing like it's very beneficial for a lot of different things.
Exactly. I mean, it's now legal in like a couple different states for to treat depression and all
Hmm.
that fun stuff. So I think if science is saying it, then why not?
Yeah, I've done it twice. Once I really tripped. Another time I tripped a good amount, but it wasn't crazy. And then recently, I did a little bit of microdosing over the span of like a week or so. I would take like
Hmm.
one one day, take a day off, one the next, you know. And
Yeah.
I saw a drastic change in my mood and just the way I viewed
Hmm.
life. And like I realized that my head was in a very, very toxic place, just because of business and focusing so much on like success and money and
Right.
trying to make everybody happy. And that was a big thing. And you also mentioned that in your Q&A, like you don't give everybody 100% if they're only giving you 50, you know,
Yeah.
and that's huge. So what's kind of your take on that? Because those are your words, not mine.
I mean, that's more honestly in a social aspect for me. Like, I am the same person I am all the time in a
Mm-hmm.
business setting, like to almost a fault because it's come into the studio, routine, script appointment, even though they are all unique and they feel, great, whatever,
Yeah.
but they are all very scripted. That's one thing. Like, I have my intro, I have my outro, like, whatever. But in a social setting, like, I feel like I had to stop giving all of myself and expecting that same amount of energy back because all I was doing was being let down.
Yeah.
So I kind of just was like, okay, I mean, everybody says it, but like if they're not going to reach out to you, then just forget about it. Like
Yeah.
don't give them the time and energy, whatever. And like that's also where you're going to find your true circle. Like people that are going to give you all of that energy back is what you need to keep around. So, I don't
Totally.
know. That's just kind of some words I live by.
Yeah, I get it. And I would imagine having a partner is definitely, does that help? I mean, I have, I work all the time. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's great. I think I would be very lost by myself at this
Yeah.
point in my life. Um, we have been together for like 4.5 years now, so
Damn.
like I
Congrats.
really don't know. Thank you. I don't know different really.
Yeah.
So I mean, heaven forbid we break up or anything because I wouldn't even know what to do with myself. But
Yeah.
I think that that definitely like helps me a lot because when I'm feeling like I'm in a state of like distress or I'm, not having the best of time, he's always the one to kind of like rein me back in and like ground me a little bit. Or honestly, he's kind of like a tough love kind of person. So when I'm like so and so is like, or if I have any issues, even with work, he's like, dude, that doesn't matter. Deal with it. Like, it's not a big deal. Like,
Yeah.
he's not the kind of person to come over and, like, coddle me and be like, it's okay.
Yeah.
Like, he's just like, snap out of it. You're never going to think about this again.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. That's kind of what I need, though, because I'm a soft ass person. Like, I will, like, I'll cry any given moment. I'll cry. So he's
Damn.
kind of just like, you know, deal with it.
Yeah. It's very difficult for me to cry. Very, very difficult.
Really?
I'm a very emotional person and I can get to the brink of crying very easily, but once I feel it, whatever, something in my body's like, don't be a bitch, Kellen. Like,
Mm,
and it's awful. I
yeah,
wish I could release it and I'm trying to do better at
yeah.
that. But yeah. I don't, you said you don't watch football, so I don't know if you might know about it, but somebody on the Bills recently, he went into cardiac arrest during a game.
I saw that though he got hit so hard that his heart literally stopped. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, so it was actually a pretty routine play, but the specific injury that he got, I forget the name, but you have to like get hit in a certain spot at like a
Right.
certain millisecond, and then obviously went into cardiac arrest. And
Hmm.
Bills football it's like a religion in Buffalo. That's all we really
Hmm.
have. So when that happened, you could
Here.
feel it in the city, and that was the first time
Yeah.
like I cried, like actually cried. And
Um,
yeah, it was just a very, very emotional, very strange few days because everyone watching, like, imagine millions of people watching this football game, and then you see
yeah.
a player from your team collapse. And even just as a human, you're just
Totally.
like, you see someone die and they got brought back to life. It's
Right.
that really put things into perspective recently, and I feel like I've needed that
Hmm.
because I've gotten so lost in this goddamn business world that
For
I
sure.
forget that there's life outside of work.
Hmm.
Do you have
Totally.
do you besides the gym and I mean, how do I word this? Like, do you do anything for your particular mental health besides the gym that always is like a reset? If you're in a bad state of mind, like you could play this song or, go do this activity and it'll bring you out.
I'm yes. To put it simply, yes, but
Mm,
I have several different things that I do that like will typically like increase my mood. But music is a huge part of my life. Like I always kind of joke about like if music was somehow some way like banned for the rest of eternity, like I
Yeah.
would not make it. Like I count me
Yeah.
out. Like I think that it plays such a huge role in my life that that has been something that I have grasped onto for years, but especially lately, like in the last couple years of my life, like if I am in a bad mood, headphones on, I'm just
Yeah.
in a whole different world. Like I can escape and just not have to pay attention to life anymore. Like I don't anymore because unfortunately I had to break up with my therapist because I moved.
Hmm.
But when I was regularly seeing a therapist, he let me know that like something that I can do when I get super overwhelmed or like upset is literally just put headphones in, turn out the world, and just never pay attention to it. Because like I'm somebody who gets like extremely overstimulated
Same.
very easily. Like even like a jacket that's too tight. I will like have little freakouts if I'm like feeling like I'm overstimulated. So
Yeah.
like in those situations, especially when I'm a very passionate person. So like if I'm in an argument or if I'm like trying to get my point across and it's really hard for me to like express myself in a certain manner, my therapist was like, put music in, just like take a couple seconds, don't even bother like dealing with the issues that you have now. Just bring yourself back down to earth and just like relax a little bit. And then you can come back to your problems because most of the time when you get into like that headspace, that mood is going to like that mood is going to there's a word for it, but it's
Carry
going to
over.
affect yeah, it's going to like basically just be a catalyst for your whole next couple minutes of your life. So like
Totally.
if you're in a good headspace and you feel like you can finally have that conversation or whatever, or get back to that thing that was overwhelming you in the first place, then I feel like it's going to be a whole lot better if you're
Yeah.
chill.
I agree. What's your go-to music right now?
I listen to like almost everything under the sun, but I mainly stick around like R&B or lots of folk music. I love like rap, hip hop. To be honest, something that I listen to a lot is solo piano. I am a pianist. I've been playing since I
Dang.
was 8 years old. So,
That's dope.
like, people are always like, why are you listening to Beethoven or whatever?
Yeah.
Just like weird ass music. But that kind of music is something that I will listen to when I'm feeling super stressed out. Like planes, I hate. Like flying is a fear for me.
Mm.
And if I just put in my headphones and I'm listening to soft little piano music, you would be astonished how calm it makes you feel.
Yeah.
Like any other type of music, I listen to it too, but nothing makes me feel that like sense of like serenity than just solo piano.
Yeah. That's kind of how I'm in a big reggae kick right now, but that's
Hmm.
how reggae music is for me. Like
Totally.
toss it in on the plane and just kind of,
Yeah.
cross your fingers and pray to
Zone
God.
out. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I mean, there's nothing you can do about it anyway. It's only going to
Yeah.
happen, but whatever. At least
Yeah.
I'm going down listening to my tunes.
Yeah, right. I want to be going down having fun. How can people book with you if they want to? And are you going to be in Bozeman anytime soon?
I wish I was going to be in Bozeman, but I have no dates currently. I did reach out to the people that I was spotting with in Bozeman, and they don't have any rooms for me yet. But
Gotcha.
as soon as one of those opens up, I'm headed back. Even if that's for a week. But
Yeah.
here in Arizona, book with me. I just want people to text me. I have my number on my Instagram, and they can be like, "Hey, I want to book with you, and we'll figure out a time and a place." And I mean, not a place because we have a place, but
Yeah.
a time.
Yeah.
And that's just my preferred scheduling method. It's just text, and then you can find that on my Instagram.
And your Instagram is tattooed by Q, correct?
Yes, two
Great
T's and two
name by the.
O's.
That's a great name. And it's always
Thank you.
it's like you tattooed by Q and you tattoo PLD Ink. Like all the female artists are just snatching up like great
Right.
names.
Just clever with it.
Yeah, and I think honestly that's the way to do it. And I see it's
Mm.
crazy. I'll see some artists who have like very, not basic names, but they're just it's that you can tell they don't care about social media, but their art is
Oh, for
fucking
sure. Right?
insane. And
I
yeah,
know. I think it's so, I mean, I'm glad that I stuck with the name that I chose back in 2020,
yeah,
because tattooed by Q is just so simple. Like, you
yeah,
can't misspell the letter Q. Like,
yeah,
someone's like, "What's your Instagram?" You're like, "Oh, it's Molly Brown 659942." It's not like some
yeah.
crazy ass. It's literally tattooed by Q. If you don't know how to spell tattooed, look it up. Like,
Yeah.
it's easy. It's easy and it's simple to just be like, "Oh, it's tattooed by Q."
Yeah, yeah.
So
Well, hey, I appreciate you coming on the podcast. I believe this is, oh man, this will be like up in the 70s somewhere. And
cool.
yeah, if anyone is listening and is interested in getting a tattoo, you go to her Instagram, Tattooed by Q, text her, and you are in Scottsdale, Arizona, potentially back in Bozeman at some point.
Correct.
Right on. Well, I will keep in touch, and our planned date is not this 2 Mondays from now. I don't
Okay.
remember the
Perfect.
date exactly, but I'll double
I
the
don't
20.
either, but I'll look at it.
It's the 22nd, I believe, but
Okay.
hesitantly,
Awesome.
hesitantly. Alrighty. Well, I
Wonderful.
appreciate you, and I will talk to you soon.
Awesome. Thank you for the opportunity. It was awesome.
Of course.
Thank you.
Peace.